Welcome back. On the night, the Blazers and the NBA celebrate and commemorate the late, great Bill Walton as a friend, as a teammate, as somebody who really loved the community here in Portland. And Lionel Hollins joins us here on the broadcast, part of the championship team, an integral part of the championship team. Coach Hollins, great to see you.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
What do you want us to know about Bill Walton? What do you want the audience to know about Bill Walton? What's most important to you?
How kind of a man he was, how sweet he was. He took care of his friends, just like on the basketball court. He took care of his teammates. He always helped you be better than you thought you could be. And he was selfless in that regard. And he didn't mind scoring 2 or 3 points and helping with the rebounding and blocking shots if you were scoring. He wanted you to be the best. He gave me a couple of pieces of advice. He always told me, don't envy somebody else's success. And he says that just because we lose, you don't have to play bad. So, you know, that was a good thing.
Say hi to Chauncey.
Yeah, that was a good thing, you know. Because, you know, you lose and you play poorly and you say, I lost the game. But he says you can go out there and lose a game and still play extremely well. And so those pieces of advice are always helpful.
Now, you were the 6th pick coming out of the 75 draft out of Arizona State. And you're a young man. What was it, your 2nd year in the league when you went to the championship, or your 3rd year?
2nd year. We were the youngest team in the NBA up to this point. Looks like if OKC can win it this year, they would be the youngest team. But we were the youngest team ever in history to win. You know, we lost the first 2 games in the finals and came back and won 4 straight against arguably one of the best teams in the league at that time. And we also swept the Lakers 4 straight after they beat us, I think, 5-1 or 6-1 during the regular season.
The passing of Walton is something that I don't think people talk enough about. Great vision.
Well, that's what made our team good. I mean, we had a lot of players who had high basketball IQ, who could pass the ball, could dribble the ball and make plays. Bill and Luke could bring it up after getting a rebound. You could outlet it to Bobby, Dave, or Johnny Davis and myself. So everybody could make plays, and we were really, really mentally tough.
What was it exactly about Bill that allowed him to talk to players at your level? Guys who in the NBA, they don't typically need to feel like they're better than they are. A lot of times they already feel like they're better than they are. So, just from your playing standpoint, your coaching pedigree,
well, he was a great player.
Okay.
And, you know, I respected him and his advice and whatever he was telling. And then, you know, coming in the league, it's not like the players today. They played so much more basketball and been around so much in AAU and what have you. But, you know, I'd never been to an NBA game until I went to college, and I never saw any NBA players until I was in college. So, you know, our understanding was limited, and so, you know, you knew that he was trying to help you be better. Now I think guys don't trust enough to believe that your teammate is saying something to you to help you be better.
Well, Jabari Walker believing in that 3-pointer right now as they swing it to him to give the Blazers a lead here with 10:13 left in the 2nd period of play. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that series, you lose the first 2, but you come back and you absolutely crush Philadelphia in games 3 and 4. What was the difference there? Close games first 2, and then you just dominated them in those middle games.
When we came back home, Jack Ramsey, first of all, when we came back on the flight, Herm Gilliam said that, you know, because there was a big fight out there on the court, and he said, you know, they may beat us, but they're not going to make us quit. We're going to fight to the end. And we get back home, and we're at University of Portland practicing, and Jack Ramsey said, we're not changing a thing. Nothing Philadelphia did stopped us from playing our game, except for we stopped us from playing our game. And I think we had 32 turnovers in one game and 36 in another. Now, we only averaged 20 turnovers a game. It's not like today we're 10 and 12 in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But, you know, we ran and we got up a lot of shots. Yeah. And we just had to play within ourselves, not try to do it too much by ourselves, and just play our game. And when we started doing that, the ball started moving. We were cutting and we were getting layup after layup. We were playing great defense. We were getting rebounds and running, and they just couldn't stay with us.
Dr. J and the matchup with Bob Gross was crucial as well. Walton talked a lot about that, the defense and the way, or forcing Dr. J to play defense, and the way that Ramsey orchestrated that and made changes during that series.
Well, I think that we realized that Julius was a great offensive player, and we wanted to wear him down. And Bobby was a great runner, and he was a good shooter, a good cutter. So we emphasized Bobby cutting and getting open, getting layups, getting wide open shots. And so Doc is scoring 40 on one end, he's giving up 24 on the other end. So, you know, it kind of negated what he was doing, really. And then Bobby is a great competitor, and he did all he could to play defense against Doc. But, you know, Doc being as great as he was, he still was going to score.
Yeah, and people forget that cast is Beasley knocks down a three-hand transition. Doug Collins and Henry Bibby at guards for starters. Yet George McGinnis, Daryl Dawkins. That was a terrific Philadelphia team you guys beat.
It certainly was, and you know they had World Beat Free, and they were just the team that was put together like they do now, putting together a slew of stars. And again, Jack Ramsey used to say, the team that plays the best together and works the best together has a chance of beating a team that just has a bunch of individual stars that play as individuals. And you see it even in the NBA today when you see these talented teams not fulfill what looks like should be their promise.
If Bill did not follow that teaching, the team that plays together, if he didn't follow it the way that he did, do you guys have the success that you had?
No, but Bill was that way from high school. If you go back and watch him in junior high school and high school, his team scored a lot of points. Bill would get rebounds and throw outlets. He would block shots and throw outlets. And so that was his personality. Bill just was a competitor, and he wanted to win. So it wasn't Jack telling us that made Bill do it. It was who Bill was.
Yeah.
But he was just making a point that if we stuck together, we had a lot of adverse times, like being down 0-2. And you just grind it to the end and let the clock run out. Johnny Davis and I were playing golf, and we had this story where, you know, we were trying to get into money, and a couple of guys we were playing with wanted to quit because it was so hot. And Johnny and I kept playing, and we made a putt at the end. We thought it was going to put us in the money, and we were yeah, we don't quit. Jack Ramsey taught us that we play until the score says 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And so that was basically our mentality. And if you go back and check some of the scores the year after we won the championship, we won some games that we should not have won.
Lionel Hollins with us here, and of course he's a contemporary of this game as a head coach in Memphis for several years. Had a great year, in fact, your last season there with Memphis. Mark Gasol, you were coaching him and that crew. And defensively, they had great grit. Tony Allen on that ball club. I see some of that in certain elements of the Blazers, and definitely in certain elements of the Detroit Pistons. Ultimately have to win with grit, force, and defense, don't you?
Well, I think Nick Saban, who I idolize as a coach, and I wouldn't spend time with him, he used to say, you have to play through mistakes, play through getting behind. You just go to the next play. And when you're on defense, there's a lot of great offensive players, and they score. It doesn't matter. When you come back on defense again, you have to be in that defensive stance, and you can't think that he scored last time, he's going to score you. You always have to believe that you're going to make the stop on the team. And then it's consistency, it's togetherness, it's communication, and it's work and practice. I mean, we spend a lot of time developing technique and also schemes that we could go out and communicate to each other and help each other be better.
Do you miss coaching?
I do.
Kim, I felt like he was putting on the clinic.
I tell you.
I felt like we got a free seat in the coach's clinic.
Yeah,
That's what it seemed like.
It's interesting. You know, Chauncey's doing a good job of developing his team. And I said to my wife, I said, we were setting up and I was looking at the arena and said, you know, my one regret is not having an opportunity to come back here and coach the Blazers. You know, I lost out to Nate McMillan. I lost out to Mo Cheeks. But, you know, it wasn't meant to be, and that's life. But I still enjoy coming back here, and I love this arena. And I always love to play in Portland, and I also love to come back and coach in Portland as an opponent.
Detroit a lead here of 5, 7:23 to play in the second quarter. Jeremy Grant into the lane, outside to Kamara. Goes right at Stewart, slows, toe drags, and could not quite get the shot he wanted because of the defense of Stewart. Now Schroeder will bring it the other way.
I know one thing, on my team, if I slow drag and shot up over somebody's hand and got my shot blocked, I was getting yelled at by everybody on the team. Pass the ball to the open man.
Beasley into the lane, heaves one up and in. This is a team, Coach Hollins, as you're well aware, that won just 14 games a year ago. They won just 17 the year before that. What a transformation J.B. Bickerstaff has been able to pull off with his general manager Trajan Langen, adding some veterans to this team, the right mix to go with this young core.
Well, you know, we have all these. What a dunk.
Well,
what a finish.
On a scale of 10, Lionel, what do you give that one?
You know, we have all these young guys with so much notoriety coming in the league, and everybody expects them to walk on the court and be who they're going to be 5 years later. And even the players think that, but there's a process to learning how to win.
Toumani Camara delivering the goods well over the rim. Oh, and Detroit needs time, leading by 5.
When the championship was over, I somehow ended up with Lionel at his house. And then I woke up and he said, "Come on, Bill, there's a parade." I said, "Well, what do you mean a parade?" "No, there's going to be a parade, Bill." And so I rode my bike down there, and as soon as I got there, I could feel and sense the crowd sort of like building up as I got closer and closer. And people were yelling and screaming and chasing me and hitting me and slapping me, and they were throwing things, throwing party favors my way. It was just spectacular. And I immediately just got overwhelmed as my bike got separated and I got pulled in another direction. And we just kept going and going and going. I mean, it just the outpouring of love, of pride, and pride.
Well, Lionel, it was at your house. That's where it all started.
Hey, it was a great story, but Bill always had a way, once he quit playing, of embellishing stories. He was at my house. It started out, we entered the game, and we go to Geneva's in Northeast Portland. Paul Knoll, who was a great fan for years, sat over in the front here. He had a block party. They blocked off the street. Everybody kind of split up a little bit, and then we had a party at Chuck's Steakhouse on Front Street. And then Bill and Luke came over to my house, and we're sitting there just looking out the window. People were riding on the tops of cars and just being crazy. And we were just sitting there drinking whatever we were drinking. And I do not remember him staying at my house. Maybe I had too much to drink, but I do not remember Bill staying overnight. I know Luke didn't stay overnight. And I do remember him losing his bike the next day because he tried to ride it from his house to where we were going to be on the bus, and the fans just wouldn't allow it.
So somebody's got Bill Walton's bike out there.
No, he got it back.
Oh, he got it back?
Oh, he made an announcement when we were at the park, and he said, "Would somebody please return my bike? They stole it," but nobody stole it. He gave it to somebody, and then they gave it back to him after we were done with the parade and the big speeches in the park.
So as we went to break, you turned to me and you said something about dunking on Kareem. I didn't quite catch all of that. You dunked on Kareem.
When we played him in the playoffs, I shot 2 free throws. Kareem takes the ball out of bounds and he tries to throw it to half court, and I run back and I steal it. He steps in and I come and I do a 2-hand flush on him. And I'm sure he was surprised, as many big people, because I was a little smaller and a little bit fearless until I had been in the league a number of times and been slammed to the floor. But he remembered that, and if you ask him today, I'm sure he would tell you he remembered it.
Do you consider that the best dunk of your career?
No,
Oh,
No.
oh, you said that quick.
No, I mean, it was just a two-hand dunk. I had to dunk. If I tried to shoot, he was going to block it. But I've had other dunks where I dunked on Nate Thurman. You know, I dunked on everybody on the Seattle Supersonics, like Camaro went down the middle there.
Okay.
I mean, when I was young and before I had knee surgery, I could jump. But at the end of my career, I couldn't jump that well. And now I can't even touch the bottom of the net.
Well, you don't need to with that kind of dunking resume.
Oh, man.
That's your part.
You know, these players are so much more athletic than us. The alley-oops that they throw to each other, guards, forward, center, everybody is able to go and catch an alley-oop. But we didn't play that way. We didn't play a lot of over ball handling between the legs, behind the back. Although some of us could, it wasn't a part of, we were trying to find an open man, so we didn't spend a lot of time shaking and baking. And if you did do that, then, you know, it disrupted the flow and the rhythm of the offense.
So the three has been a fabric of the NBA now for, well, since Curry came into the NBA. And so it's a different game today than certainly it was back in the day. That's for a conversation for the future. Right now we got to step aside for a break as we've got a challenge here. We thank Lionel Hollins, the L Train, for joining us, Coach.
Thank you.
Great to see you as always.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your time. We'll be right back.